Again, this video, just like the last one, is something when you get to calculus you would actually be able to compute by doing some different calculus techniques where the minima and maxima are, or minimum and maximum. And for now though, we're just going to talk about the concept of what is a minima or maxima. So a relative minima or minimum occurs at an x value when essentially the y value is smaller than everything around it. So yeah, there's a lot of like crazy notation going on, but you don't need to worry about any of that. What you need to worry about is this point right here, b comma f of b, is lower than anything around it. Now, is it the lowest overall? No, because this guy keeps going down forever, but that's why it's called a relative minima rather than an absolute minima. An absolute minima would be like the very, very minimum for the entire graph, which we wouldn't have because this goes on till negative infinity. So the relative minima would be down here because everything around it is higher. The relative maxima would be right here because everything around it is lower. Again, that wouldn't be an absolute max because this keeps going forever, but it's relative. So all we want to do is we want to say where are the relative mins or maxes and at what point. So at where this one is talking about a minimum, it looks to me that this point right here is lower than everything around it. And that would mean at x equals -2, the minimum is the y value, which is -1. The maximum, relative maximum, which means bigger than everything around it, seems to be right here. So even though it's not an absolute max, because this goes on forever, the highest point around it nearby is at x equals 0, and the y value is at +1. Here's one for you to try. There are 3 different relative mins or maxes. I'd like you to identify all 3, then press play to see how you did. So I've got 2 mins and a max. This one appears to be a min, and it appears that at x equals -1, y is -2. So at x equals -1, I have a minimum of -2. The other minimum is over here at x equals 4, and that minimum is at y equals 0. So they're both relative minimums. It doesn't matter that one is more minimum than another. It's just, is everything around it more than that? Yes. I have one relative max. It's this guy up here. And it appears to be at x is 2 and y is 3. So at x equals 2, I have a relative max of 3.